Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of ranking the top KeyForge cards in every set. And in this video, we will be looking at Mass Mutation. And this is such a good set that it is very complicated for me to pick just a few top cards. So here are the 10 best cards in Mass Mutation. And like I've said in the other videos, this is completely my opinion, not an official opinion, so it's not going to be perfectly lined up with what you guys think, but I do hope most of you guys can somewhat agree with this. So let's just get right into it, and to start it off is Lord INVIDIUS. And this one is not really what I think you guys would think, but it is something that I think of because I love Orb of INVIDIUS, and this card actually links up with it, and you can actually see Orb of INVIDIUS in the top left corner. And this card reads Elusive. While Lord INVIDIUS is in the center of your battle line, it gains Reap. Take control of an enemy flank creature and exhaust it. While under your control, it belongs to House Dis. And this card I mainly enjoy because it relates to Orb of INVIDIUS, but also it could be pretty helpful if you do have an enemy creature that looks interesting to take control of, and then you have an extra creature that you would enjoy. However, this does absolutely go in spot 10 because it's not super powerful, and compared to the other cards in this set, it just doesn't compare. Moving on to another discard, we have Ritual of TOGNATH, and it has 3 bonus Ember Pips and says play destroy 2 friendly creatures. And while this card doesn't seem super amazing, I do think this card could be really helpful, especially if you have a deck with not many good creatures, or if your battle line is empty, because you can still play this card and get the 3 Ember even if you don't have creatures out there, because you don't have to destroy 2 friendly creatures if you don't have 2 creatures out there. So before I move on, I just want to let you guys know that I was thinking about putting the 7 sins into this video, but I thought that could be good for another video, so let me know if you guys want to see what the 7 sins are and what they do. But anyway, moving on to number 8, Seeker Needle. And this card is a very simple card that just reads, Action, deal 1 damage to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, gain 1 Ember. Like I said, this is a very simple card, but if you have 2 or more in a deck, this can actually be really powerful, because you can continuously deal 3 damage, and not a lot of decks have a lot of healing in them, so you'll be able to gain Ember off of your opponent's battle line. Plus, this is an artifact, so it's definitely harder to get rid of. Moving on, we have Antony. And this creature is a really nice card that I actually have in my best deck. And I did make a video on my best deck, if you guys want to go visit that. But anyway, it reads, play, capture all of your opponent's Ember. At the end of your turn, move 1 Ember from Antony to your opponent's pool. And this card can be really helpful with Ember control, especially if you have some way to ward it or put a card that has taunt next to it. And if you can get it protected like that, it's not that big of a deal that you have to move 1 Ember back to your opponent's pool, because overall, it's not terribly hard to keep it out there as long as you have stuff protecting it. And 1 Ember at a time every turn is not going to add up to too much. Moving on, I have 2 Saurian cards. Ancient Power, which reads, play, ward each friendly creature with Ember on it. And this card just really shows the true power of Saurian in Mass Mutation. And I have one other card that kind of goes with it, but I wanted to kind of separate them because they are two different cards, but they kind of do the same idea with the Ember control and all that stuff. And that card is City State Interest. And it reads, play, each friendly creature captures one Ember. And I thought I'd put these two cards together because the one shows that Saurian is really good at protecting and warding and that kind of thing. And then the other one shows the true Ember control of Saurian with City State Interest, how you just capture a bunch of Ember assuming that you have a pretty decent battle line. Moving on, we have another card that protects, and that is the Vault Keeper. And I thought I'd put this card pretty high on the list, and it's just because it simply says your Ember cannot be stolen. And this seems very simple at first glance, but if you could get this card warded or have a creature that has taunt next to it, like the other cards that I've described, then this card can be really helpful because a lot of Ember control has to do with stealing. So overall, this one is just a really simple but very useful card. Moving on, we have another key cheat, KEYFROG, and it reads, destroyed, forge a key at current cost. This can be a really helpful card, especially if you have it down already, and then what you can do is you can just try and get enough Ember and then find a way to destroy it, whether that be an action card or something like that. Once again, this is just a very simple and fun card to use. Moving on, we have AMPHORA CAPTURA. And I personally put this card way up on the list, and it's just because of the sheer amount of enhance it has, where it enhances 2 Ember icons, 2 damage icons, and 2 draw card icons. And it also reads, when resolving a bonus icon, you may choose to resolve it as a capture bonus icon instead. This is just another one of those cards that shows Saurian's true power. The main reason why I put this card so high on the list is just because of the sheer amount of bonus icons that it enhances, because bonus icons are always helpful, and especially since it enhances so many, it's just such a helpful card. So it's not necessarily the card itself, but it's just having it in the deck is very helpful. But if your deck does play around capturing Ember, then this card is extra helpful. Moving on to the number 1 card of Mass Mutation, Saurian Egg. I'm kidding. We have the 2-part creatures. And I did put these in order of Ultra Gravitron, Niflkong, and finally Ducelus. And the reason why I ranked them like this was because Ultra Gravitron, I have this card, and it is a really good card, but only if you can pull it off correctly, because I really don't appreciate this card when I don't have enough archives, or I need to pick up my archives because I actually like the cards, or things like that. And that's just because this card definitely revolves around your archives, and it can be really helpful, like I said, but most of the time it doesn't work out. Moving on, we have Niflkong, and Niflkong I put as second place just because it is cool, because you can deal a lot of damage, but my issue with this one is, what if I like my Niffle creatures, or if I'm trying to use them for something else? Now, I don't have this card, so I can't be too picky, but that's just my opinion. Moving on to the final card, Ducelus. And I really love this artwork for one, but also just the fact that it probably has the best ability in Mass Mutation, because you play, you capture all of your opponent's Ember, deal 5 damage to an enemy creature, and when you fight or Reap, you move 1 Ember from Duceless to the common supply. Deal 2 damage to each enemy creature. And I think you can see why I put this as number 1. I mean, it's just such an overpowered card, and it just deals so much damage that there's nothing much better than this. Not to mention, it's basically an Antony, and it deals this much damage. So anyway guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, let me know if you guys agree with this ranking, or if you would change it at all, or if you would include some other cards. And like I said earlier, this is very difficult to decide because Mass Mutation is, in my opinion, the best set, so it was very complicated for me to pick top cards, and that's why I had to do so many. And if you haven't already, watch part 1 and part 2 to look at the previous sets and what I thought was the top cards of those sets. So anyway, like I said, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.